In today's video, I'm going to be rebuilding the new look Milwaukee Bucks around Giannis Antetokounmpo and hopefully winning Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks a championship. The Bucks did make one pretty big move for their roster this past trade deadline, and that was trading for Kyle Kuzma, sending away Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards. They also got themselves Kevin Porter Jr. from the Los Angeles Clippers. Kevin Porter Jr. is only 24 years old, so he still has potential in my opinion. That was also a pretty good pickup for this team. And at the moment of this recording, the Bucks have a win-loss record of 29 wins and 24 losses, which puts them at the 5th seed. We're also past the trade deadline, so we won't be able to pull off any trades for this season, at least until we get to the off season. So for the second half of this season, I'll show you guys what our rotation is going to be looking like. Our starting five is going to include Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. And then off the bench, we're going to have Bobby Portis Jr., AJ Green, Taurean Prince, and Kevin Porter Jr. I did move Kyle Kuzma's position over to small forward, and his overall has gone up to 84 overall, which is pretty nice to see. Let's see how game number 1 goes against the LA Clippers. And the first game with Kyle Kuzma, in this simulation at least, is a win for us. Beating the LA Clippers, we only scored 93 points. Giannis had 28 points, 18 from AJ Green, 12 from Lillard, 11 from Kuzma, and 11 from Brook Lopez. We're probably going to be trading away Brook Lopez this offseason in my opinion, and targeting a new big man. Brook Lopez is 36 years old. He's basically exiting his prime years, so we're probably going to be moving on from him and acquiring ourselves a new big man. But now I'm going to be simulating until the end of this season, and we'll see what we could do in the playoffs. At the end of season number 1, Nikola Jokic wins MVP, Alexander Sarr wins Rookie of the Year, Peyton Pritchard winning 6th Player of the Year, Wemby Depoy, Bilal Coulibaly wins Most Improved, Jokic Clutch Player, the OKC win Coach of the Year, and the Boston Celtics win Executive of the Year. And we do get Giannis Antetokounmpo on All NBA First Team, which is pretty cool to see. And we also get Damian Lillard on All NBA Second Team. Let's go. So we have 2 players on All NBA. We also get Giannis on All Defensive First Team. And that's it for awards. No one on All Rookie. Now it's time for the playoffs. We ended up as a 6th seed. Towards the end of the season, towards the second half of the season, we lost a bunch of games. So I have no hopes of winning a championship. It would honestly be a miracle if we were able to win a championship. But as you guys can see, we were negative. We won 40 games and lost 42. Yet we still made the playoffs clearly because the East is not as stacked as the West is. As you guys can see, if we were in the Western Conference, we would have been the 12th or 13th seed, which is pretty insane. But we ended up being the 6th seed because we're in the Eastern Conference. And in round number 1, we're going to be taking on the New York Knicks, who are the 3rd seed, who have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, and off the bench they have Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, Miles McBride, and Cam Payne. So I'm going to fix up our player minutes, and then let's see if we can defeat the New York Knicks to advance to the second round. Player minutes have been fixed, but before we get into the playoffs, let me show you guys our player stats for the regular season. So our leading scorer was Giannis Antetokounmpo with 28.5 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, as well as 2 blocks and 1 steal on really good efficiency. Then we had Damian Lillard with 25 points per game, shooting 40% from the 3-point line, as well as 7 assists, 15 from the newly acquired Kyle Kuzma, who had a really good second half of the season, averaging 15 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists on pretty good efficiency. He did struggle from the 3-point line, but his field goal percentage was really good. Bobby Portis Jr., 13 points per game. His field goal percentage from the 3-point line dropped like crazy in the second half of the season, struggling from the 3-point line. Brook Lopez, 11 points per game, 10 and 11 basically from Gary Trent Jr. who is amazing for our team. He's an elite 3-point shooter, but sadly we only have him for this season. I'm not sure if we'll have the money to bring him back. I really hope we do. AJ Green also shooting 42% from the 3-point line, and then the rest of the guys. And now let's jump right into the playoffs. Let's see how things go against the New York Knicks. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Brunson had 44 points. Lillard had 29. Where's Giannis? Giannis fouled out in 21 minutes. Kyle Kuzma had a double-double, but we still fell short. Game number 2 is also a loss for us. Okay, Giannis had 42 this game, but clearly that was not enough. Lillard had 21, 11 from Trent. As you guys can see, the supporting cast around Giannis and or Damian Lillard isn't really the greatest. They were basically the only 2 players in double-digit scoring. So this offseason, we're definitely going to have to pull off a bunch of trades in order to make us championship contenders, because with this team, we're definitely not winning. Game number 3 is also a loss for us, which puts us down 3-0. Again, that is insane, because as you guys can see, this time Damian Lillard was playing good. Giannis kind of struggled offensively big time, 4 of 13. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to be swept. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. We were swept in game 4. Giannis had 20 points. Lillard had 13. He struggled big time that game, 6 of 21. Brook Lopez was alright, but we're most definitely still going to be moving on from him. Let's see who goes on to win the championship. Anthony Edwards, Western Conference Finals MVP, Trae Young, Eastern Conference, and the Minnesota Timberwolves win with Julius Randle winning Finals MVP. I thought that would be most definitely Anthony Edwards, but clearly it was not. It's kind of surprising that Randle ended up winning Finals MVP. I'm going to overturn a few of these retirements, and then I'll see you guys either at the NBA draft or at free agency, where we're going to be pulling off a bunch of trades. So we're also going to be firing away Doc Rivers, because in my opinion, if we want to win a championship, we need a better head coach. He has an 83 overall in head coaching. There's a better head coach that we can go out there and acquire, and that's going to be Joshua Willis. He has a 87 overall in coaching. So let's go ahead and offer him a 4-year contract. That way he'll be our future head coach, and he should accept this contract, which he does. Now we have ourselves a new head coach. Bobby Portis is going to be declining his player option. I really wanted him to accept this player option because we could have used his contract and his trade value to go acquire ourselves a better player. But hopefully we're able to bring him back in free agency. That way we could sign and then trade him. Qualifying offers, there's no one to give a qualifying offer to, but let's see who we're supposed to be bringing back. And we also gotta bring Brook Lopez back. I totally forgot about that. So we're gonna be signing Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis and then trading the both of them. We also have to bring back Gary Trent Jr. and luckily we have bird rights on him. So I'm pretty sure we will also be bringing back Gary Trent Jr. But first, we're going to be signing Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis Jr., bringing them back on our team. That way we could use their contracts and their trade value to trade them. And I'm pretty sure both of them will be accepting, which they are. And we'll also be able to bring back Gary Trent Jr., which is a pretty good sign. But first, I want to lock up Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis Jr. on these contracts before giving out more. So let's see if we're able to do that, which we do, and we can also bring back Gary Trent Jr. But first, let's see how much money we have to spend. And yeah, we don't really have too much money. We could spend around $5 million in free agency. I'm pretty sure that's a mid-level exception. We could also get Malcolm Brogdon, and honestly, I think this is a player we're probably going to go get. He's a really good player in 2K25. He's a really efficient player. He shoots 50-40, 80, 50-40, 90 all the time. I'm going to look around and see who else we could sign. We can also get Karis LeVert, which would honestly also be a really good get for our team. He's a good perimeter defender and could possibly even start for us at the shooting guard position. So I'm going to see what we're going to be doing in free agency. But before that, I'm going to look around the league and see who we could get in return for Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis Jr. I'm really interested in signing Karis LeVert to be our brand new starting shooting guard. We don't really have a good starting shooting guard on our team. As you guys can see, it's AJ Green and then Andre Jackson Jr. So So if we sign Caris LeVert, he could be our brand new starting shooting guard. He's a good 3-point shooter, good offensive player, and a really good perimeter defender. So I think we're going to go ahead and give Caris LeVert a 2-year contract. He doesn't want much money at all. $3.5 million for Caris LeVert is really cheap. So let's go ahead and make that a 3-year deal worth $3.5 million a year, which he should accept. And I also want Malcolm Brogdon if we're able to do that. But first, let's sign Caris LeVert, and he has not accepted yet. And it looks like Malcolm Brogdon has been signed, unfortunately, by someone else. Or never mind, he hasn't. He's still here, but yeah. So let's see. Caris LeVert does accept. I'm going to see if we still have more money to spend. We have the minimum contract that we could be spending right now. So I don't think we're going to be able to get Malcolm Brogdon, but I am going to be looking around for a different backup point guard. As I said, we're going to be trading away Brook Lopez this offseason for a new big man, and we're going to be targeting Zach Edey from the Memphis Grizzlies. And of course, having Giannis as our #1 option in our starting lineup, we're going to need a floor spacing big man beside him. That was the whole reason the Bucks got Brook Lopez to begin with, because he can space the floor. And Zach Edey in NBA 2K25 has a 84 overall 3-point shot, and it ends up progressing to like a 89 or a 90 overall. I've seen it in the past. After the first offseason, it ends up going to 89 overall. So we're going to be targeting Zach Edey from the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's see what they say to this trade. And they do decline this trade. We can maybe include some players like Andre Jackson Jr. And we can't, since salaries won't match. So what I'm going to be doing is possibly trading away Andre Jackson Jr., AJ Green, Pat Connaughton for first-round picks to get ourselves some draft capital, and then we'll be back talking with the Memphis Grizzlies. I went and acquired ourselves some draft capital, and now we're back talking with the Memphis Grizzlies. And now the salaries do not match Brook Lopez for Zach Edey, and I think the reason for that is I traded away Andre Jackson Jr. to the Memphis Grizzlies for a first-round pick, so I think that messed up the salary. So now we're going to have to take on one more contract from the Memphis Grizzlies, and let's go ahead and take on the lowest contract that they have, and that's for Hans Yang. Pretty sure he's a rookie, and he is. So now let's see what the Memphis Grizzlies say when we include a bunch of first-round picks. I believe I acquired ourselves 3 or 4 first-round picks, so I'm pretty sure that should get this trade done. Let's see what happens. 1 first-round pick does not get it done. 2 first-rounders also does not get it done. What about 3? So this trade is still not going anywhere. 4 first-round picks for Zach Edey. Let's see what they say. They still declined this trade, which is pretty insane. Now we're about to include 5 first-round picks, and they're still not giving us Zach Edey. That's pretty insane. We just included 5 first-round picks, and we're not able to get Zach Edey. So clearly, we're going to have to go target a new starting center. Now we're here talking with the Indiana Pacers about Miles Turner and Andrew Nembhard for Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis Jr. Miles Turner is an amazing defender, amazing 3-point shooter, could space the floor beside Giannis, so we're going to try targeting him. And also Andrew Nembhard, who could be our brand new starting shooting guard. He's an amazing defender, good playmaker, can score when he needs to. So we're going to be trying to pull this trade off. Let's see what the Pacers say for Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis Jr. They do decline, but this is where our first-round picks will come in handy. 1 first-rounder, they do decline. 2 first-rounders, they still decline. What about 3 first-round picks? And they're not budging. They're still saying no. What if we include AJ Green? The trade is done just like that. We have a brand new starting shooting guard and a brand new starting center in Miles Turner. And now in free agency, I'm going to be signing a few players to fill out our roster. Thomas Bryant is also a floor spacing big man. He has an A- 3-point shot, and he's only worth a minimum contract. So we're going to go ahead and sign him on a 2-year contract. We'll also go ahead and bring back Taurean Prince and possibly sign Patrick Beverley as our backup point guard. and see if he accepts that, which I'm pretty sure all 3 of them will, which they do. Let's go, and now I'll be seeing you guys at the start of this coming season. Here we are at the start of the second season with our new rotation. Our starting lineup is going to include Damian Lillard, Andrew Nembhard, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Miles Turner. And then off the bench, we're going to have Caris LeVert, Thomas Bryant, Taurean Prince, and Kenrich Williams. In my opinion, this past offseason, our team has gotten 10 times better. We got a lot of good role players like Andrew Nembhard, Miles Turner, LeVert, Bryant. We have a lot of good players on our team, so let's see how things play out. Damian Lillard did end up regressing by 3 in overall. I believe he was a 93 overall, and as you guys can see, he's only a 90 overall at the moment. And in my opinion, if by the trade deadline we're not playing good or in the offseason, we may honestly be moving on from Damian Lillard and trading for a different point guard. But obviously if he plays good and our team continues to do good, we'll obviously be keeping him. Let's simulate game number 1 against the Philadelphia 76ers and see how things go, and it's a win for us. We end up beating them by 22 points. Lillard had 43 points. Clearly, it seems like he might have heard what I just said there. He went and put up 43 points in the season's first game. Miles Turner, in his Bucks debut, had 22 points, 17 for LeVert's debut, 14 from Kuzma, 13 and 10 from Giannis, who didn't really shoot the ball all that much. Nembhard was 7, 5, and 6. Nembhard probably won't be scoring the most points, but he's still going to be doing everything else, like rebounding, playmaking, playing an amazing defense, and honestly he could score when he needs to, so he's a perfect shooting guard to have beside Damian Lillard. Now I'm going to be simulating until the end of this season, but if there's trades to be made, of course I'll be stopping at the trade deadline to show you guys. Stopped here on January 2nd, and we're going to be pulling off a trade here. The reason for that is we've been playing pretty horrible. We're the 9th seed with 17 wins and 17 losses. And the reason for a bunch of these losses is Kyle Kuzma. He's been struggling, playing pretty horrible, shooting 43% from the field and 30% from the 3-point line. I'm not sure how Kyle Kuzma will exactly fit the Milwaukee Bucks. Around Giannis Antetokounmpo, you need 3-point shooters, and Kyle Kuzma has never been a good 3-point shooter throughout his career. The best 3-point shooting season he had was literally his rookie season. Ever since then, it's been downhill. So we're going to be trading away Kyle Kuzma and getting ourselves a new starting small forward in DeAndre Hunter. We're going to be sending Kyle Kuzma to the Cleveland Cavaliers. We get DeAndre Hunter in return, who's a good offensive player. He's an amazing 3-point shooter and a really good defender. Kyle Kuzma is not really the best defender, not a good 3-point shooter, but DeAndre Hunter will most definitely be that perfect 3-and-D wing that we need on our team. And just like that, DeAndre Hunter is our new starting small forward. And now we have DeAndre Hunter in our starting lineup as our small forward. Our starting 5 is going to be looking the exact same, except instead of Kyle Kuzma, now we have DeAndre Hunter. And now we're also going to be putting Gary Trent Jr. on the bench. I moved his position over to small forward, where his overall is now up to at 81. He's going to be our backup small forward. We're still going to be running a 9-man rotation. I'm not sure if we're going to be pulling off any more trades. We may trade Caris LeVert. His efficiency hasn't been the best. But if he ends up starting to play better, of course, we'll be keeping him. So now I'm going to start simulating either until the trade deadline or the end of the second season. As I said in the past offseason, we were going to be trading away Damian Lillard if we did not continue to play good this season. And so far, we've been pretty bad. We're still the 7th seed even after trading away Kyle Kuzma, which means we're going to be trying to trade Damian Lillard for Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton is averaging a 25-point double-double. He would most definitely make our team a lot better with all of his playmaking. He's also a really good 3-point shooter and a decent defender. So we're going to try targeting Halliburton from the Indiana Pacers, where we send them Damian Lillard and Gary Trent Jr. for Halliburton and this guy right here. Let's see what they say to this trade, and they do decline, but we still have 3 first-round picks that we acquired. this past off season. So let's see what they say after we include a bunch of first round picks. 2 first round picks gets it done. And just like that, we got ourselves a brand new starting point guard in Tyrese Halliburton, who's averaging a 25-point double-double. And just like that, we got ourselves one of the best point guards in the league. Halliburton is paired up with Andrew Nembhard and Miles Turner once again, but this time on the Milwaukee Bucks. Our starting 5 is going to include Tyrese Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, DeAndre Hunter, Giannis, and Miles Turner. And then our bench will be basically looking the exact same. In my opinion, we're most definitely championship contenders. Hopefully we can go out there, make the playoffs, and win a championship. Let's see how things play out. We have one of the best playmakers as our point guard, and I think the sky is the limit. At the end of this season, Wemby wins MVP, Dylan Harper with the Miami Heat winning Rookie of the Year, Josh Giddey wins 6th Player of the Year, and somehow he's back with the OKC Thunder. So it looks like he was traded back to the same team that drafted him in 2021, which is pretty crazy. Wemby also wins Defensive Player, Scoot Henderson wins Most Improved, Paulo Banchero Clutch Player, Greg Popovich Coach, and the Warriors win Executive of the Year. And we do get Giannis Antetokounmpo once again on All-NBA First Team. We also get Tyrese Halliburton on All-NBA Second Team, and he most definitely deserved to be there. He played absolutely amazing. Ever since we acquired Halliburton, we've been winning a whole lot more games. Giannis is also on All Defensive Team, and that's it for awards. And this time around, we were the number 3 seed. So before trading away Damian Lillard, we were the 7th seed, we were a play-in team, and we were losing a bunch of games. As soon as we traded away Damian Lillard for Tyrese Halliburton, we went on a huge winning streak. We won a bunch of games. Let's see what our last 10 was. So in the last 10 games, we won 8 of those 10 games, which is pretty impressive. Let me show you guys the player stats before we do jump into the playoffs for the regular season. Our leading scorer was Tyrese Halliburton, averaging a 24-point double-double on amazing efficiency, 23-point double-double from Giannis, 13.5 from Miles Turner, 12.5 from Andrew Nembhard, 12 from Karis LeVert, 12 from DeAndre Hunter, and then the rest of the team. So clearly the moves that we made ended up making us a bunch better. So now I'm going to fix up our player minutes, and then let's see how far we can make it into the playoffs. Alrighty, I fixed up our player minutes, and in round number 1, we're going to be taking on the Toronto Raptors, who have Emmanuel Quickley, Grady, Cooper Flag. They got Cooper Flag, which is insane. I did not even know that. They also have Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, and off the bench they have Brendan Ingram, RJ Barrett. This team is stacked. Charles Bassey and Jacoby Walter. And Jonathan. Jamal Sheed as well. So this whole team's players are 80 overall or higher. I'm not sure how they were the 6th seed, but they are. And I've noticed before in simulations, the Toronto Raptors is going to win a lot of championships. So this is going to be a hard series, but I hope it's not as hard as I'm thinking. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 is a loss for us. So Nembhard had 32 points, a 22 double-double from Hallie, but we still fell short. As I said, the Toronto Raptors are a really good team in 2K. Let's see how game number 2 goes. We do end up winning game 2. Let's go. Giannis had 28 points, 15 boards. Game number 3 is a loss for us. I'm surprised that the 6th seed is pushing us this far. Ingram had 26. Hallie played good, so did Giannis, but we still ended up falling short. Thomas Bryant had 19 points. Hunter's kind of struggling offensively, but he's still shooting 40%, which is impressive. Miles Turner is struggling offensively compared to the regular season. Nembhard is also struggling. Oh my god, so is Karis LeVert, and just when I was thinking I'll be switching out Nembhard for LeVert, LeVert is playing even worse. Hopefully these 2 players could pick things up, and Torian Prince is playing horrible. I'm going to fix up our rotation, because a lot of our players are struggling at the moment. So I didn't really change all that much. I did change up the player minutes. Also, I took Taurean Prince out of our rotation and I put Patrick Beverly in our rotation, who's going to be playing 8 minutes a game. I'm not sure how much that'll help us get wins here, but let's see what happens. And we're down 3-1 against the 6th seed. Might as well simulate because it's over for us, but we do win game 5. You never know, we could possibly come back. I really hope we do. And it's going to a game 7. Okay, finally our players are starting to play good. And oh my god, Halliburton is playing horrible. 39% from the field, 22 from the 3-point line. No wonder we're losing all of these games. Nembhard is starting to play a lot better. He's averaging 17 a night, but Halliburton is playing horrible, and so is DeAndre Hunter. Karis LeVert is playing good. I'm going to switch up a few things. Karis LeVert is going into our starting lineup for DeAndre Hunter because he's horrible right now. Thomas Bryant is good. Miles Turner is struggling. Yeah, we're most definitely switching up some things. Miles Turner is struggling. Might as well throw Thomas Bryant in the starting lineup. Give him 24 minutes, and the same for Miles Turner because Thomas Bryant's playing amazing. 50% from the 3-point line is insane, and it's not like he's not attempting any 3-pointers. 1/3 of his shots are 3-pointers. And Karis LeVert we're going to put in instead of DeAndre Hunter because Hunter is struggling as well. Let's see how things play out now with a little switch to our roster. Hopefully we can go out there and win in game 7. Alright, let's see how things go here in game number 7. We did make some tweaks to our starting lineup. Karis LeVert and Thomas Bryant instead of Hunter and Miles Turner. Hopefully we can go out there and win in game number 7. We do have home court advantage, which is really good for us, but let's see what we can do. And we do have the lead. We're up by 2 points. 48 seconds remaining, and we end up losing in overtime. Oh god. The Milwaukee Bucks are a lot harder to rebuild than I thought. I haven't rebuilt them in a while, but this team is really hard to rebuild. I think we're going to have to go out there and get ourselves a new head coach. So see what I mean? The Raptors somehow end up winning championships in 2K simulation. They're in the NBA Finals somehow. First they beat us, then they beat the 2nd seed, and then they beat the 1st seed. And now they're in the finals, and they almost won a championship. They took it to game 7. Ja Morant wins finals MVP. I'm not sure how the Toronto Raptors are this good. And what sucks is we had them in the first round, so possibly that's the reason we ended up losing in the playoffs. But obviously we're going to go back out there, upgrade our roster, and go for another championship because we most definitely need to win the Bucks a championship before this video ends. Now we're going to end up firing our head coach. We're going to fire Joshua Willis and go get ourselves a new head coach. We can get Joe Mazzulla, we can get Peter Galloway, Michael Stauffer, Jason Kidd. There's just a bunch of really good head coaches out here that we can go and acquire. First, I think we're going to try acquiring Joe Mazzulla and Jason Kidd. So let's go ahead and try to give them as much as money as we can. I would rather have Joe Mazzulla since his overall is higher, but looks like both of them will be declining our offers. So we're going to have to get a new head coach. Maybe Michael Stauffer should be good for the job. Let's see if he'll accept this offer, which I'm pretty sure he will. And we got ourselves a new head coach in Michael Stauffer. So I'm here at free agency, and there's not really anyone we need to bring back other than Taurean Prince. He's not really a priority at the moment. What I am going to be doing this offseason is upgrading our small forward position even more than DeAndre Hunter, because as we've seen this past playoffs, he was horrible. So I'm going to be trading him for a new starting small forward. But before I do that, I'm going to sign a few players in free agency and then trade them away for some draft picks. That way we have some draft capital that we can use in a big trade. As you guys can see, we can get Scottie Pippen Jr., who's an 80 overall, for basically the minimum contract. It looks like the Memphis Grizzlies released him into free agency, and all we got to give him is $2.5 million. So of course we're going to be doing that. Then we should be able to trade him for a bunch of first round picks, and I think we may be doing the same with Dennis Schroeder. We only have to give a minimum contract too. So both of these players are going to be signed. Let's go. Now I'm going to go trade them for some draft picks, and then we'll be talking with some teams for a new starting small forward. We're going to be targeting Christian Braun from the Denver Nuggets, and he is an amazing defender, amazing three-point shooter, good offensive player, and in my opinion, he's not going to be choking how DeAndre Hunter did these past playoffs. So let's see what the Denver Nuggets say to this trade where we send them DeAndre Hunter for Christian Braun. They give us a counteroffer, we're most definitely not giving them Miles Turner, but we will give them some first round picks. I acquired ourselves 2 first rounders that we could use in this trade. 1 first rounder they do decline, they want 2 first rounders and a second, and they want to include Zeke Naji. We do not need Zeke Naji. So let's try this with a first and a second, and they still decline. I'm not trying to take on Zeke Naji's contract, and they want to give us Zeke Naji's contract really bad, otherwise they're not going to let this trade happen. So it looks like we're going to have to take on his $7 million contract, which is alright since we're getting Christian Braun. And now I'm not sure if there's any more moves we will be making. If I am going to be making some trades, of course, I'll show y'all. We still have Scottie Pippen Jr. on our team, so we're going to be pulling this trade off here with the Cleveland Cavaliers where we acquire Jalen Tyson. Tyson ends up progressing really well in 2K simulation, so we're going to go ahead and bring him on our team as our backup small forward. We're also sending them Josiah Mosley, who we picked at the 22nd pick in the 2026 NBA draft. So let's go ahead and pull this trade off. I don't think we're going to be pulling off any more trades, but I am going to finish filling out the rest of the roster in free agency, and then I'll see you guys at the start of this coming season. Here we are at the start of this season with our new rotation. Our starting 5 is going to include Tyrese Haliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Christian Braun, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Miles Turner. And then off the bench, we're going to have Jalen Tyson as our 6th man. We have Caris LeVert, Thomas Bryant, and Jonathan Isaac. Let's see how things play out. Hopefully this season we can go out there and win ourselves a championship. Let's see how game number 1 goes against the Atlanta Hawks, and it's a win for us by 5 points. Giannis puts up 44 points and 11 rebounds in the first game of this season. Hopefully this could continue throughout the rest of this season and we go on to win a championship. So let's see how things go. I'll be simulating until the end of the season. But of course, if there's any trades to be made, I'll stop at the trade deadline to show y'all. I'm stopped here at the trade deadline and we're going to be pulling off some trades to make our roster a little better because we're still not one of the best teams in the league at this moment, even after all those moves we pulled off. Clearly the Milwaukee Bucks are one of the hardest teams to rebuild. I did not know this, but I do now. We're going to be trading away Andrew Nembhard, 2 first round picks, and Harrison Barnes for Derek White to be our brand new starting shooting guard. He's an amazing 3-point shooter, one of the best defensive guards in the league. And now he's going to be on our team as our brand new starting shooting guard. But we're not done there, we're also going to be trading away Caris LeVert because he's also playing pretty bad compared to the last few seasons. And then we should be ready for the second half of this season. We're going to be trading away Caris LeVert for Grayson Allen, an amazing 3-point shooter, and now he's going to be our backup shooting guard. That's it for trades this season. Now I'll be seeing you guys in the playoffs where hopefully this time around we can go out there and win ourselves a championship. At the end of this season, Wemby wins another MVP. Cameron Boozer with the OKC Thunder wins Rookie of the Year. Igor Demon wins 6th Player of the Year. Wemby also wins a Defensive Player, VJ Edgecombe Most Improved. And Damian Lillard with the LA Lakers wins Clutch Player of the Year, and somehow Lillard is still a 92 overall. He's averaging 30 points per game. That is pretty insane. Greg Popovich wins Coach of the Year, and they also win Executive. And this time, no Giannis on all NBA first team. Luka is now with the Chicago Bulls, which is pretty weird, but interesting. And we do get Giannis on all NBA second team. We also get Tyrese Haliburton on all NBA second team. And then we get Giannis on all defensive first team, and that is it for awards. And this time around, we were the number 2 seed, and in round 1, we're going to be taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Let me show you guys our player stats before we jump into the playoffs. So our leading scorer was Tyrese Haliburton, averaging a 25-point double-double on pretty good efficiency. His 3-point shooting is not close to 40%, but I mean, it's still pretty good, 35.5%. For some reason, Giannis does not shoot as much as I would like for him to be shooting the ball out there on the court. As you guys can see, he's only averaging 21.5 points per game, but we all know Giannis in real life averages close or at least a 30 points per game. But in 2K simulation, that's not the case. For some reason, bro is averaging 20 points per game. I don't know why that's the case, but it is. And his shot tendency is higher than Tyrese Haliburton's by 10. But Christian Braun was absolutely amazing for our team. 18.5 from him, 13 from Miles Turner, 12 from Derek White. Jalen Tyson was really good off of our bench as well. So was Grayson Allen and the rest of the guys. Now let me fix up our player minutes, and then we'll be going up against the Brooklyn Nets. I fixed up the player minutes, and now we're taking on the Brooklyn Nets, who were the number 8 seed. They have Jeremiah Fears, VJ Edgecombe, Cam Thomas, Noah Clowney, Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, Tyus Jones. They also got James Harden back in Brooklyn. And they also have Mo Wagner, PJ Washington. This team is pretty deep, not gonna lie. But they don't really have a star. Well, they do have Cam Thomas, who's averaging 25 a night. So let's see how things go here. Game number 1 is a win for us. Hallie had a 25-point double-double. Giannis only shot the ball 11 times for some reason. Game number 2 is a loss for us. Giannis had 29, but we still fell short. But we do win game 3, which puts us up 2-1. Hallie had 27 and 10. Giannis only had 18 points. I really hope Giannis starts shooting the ball a little more. The series is tied at 2-2 apiece. Giannis had 39 points, but we still fell short. Game number 5, let's see how things go. And we do win game 5, which puts us up 3-2. Haliburton had a 30-point double-double. Giannis had 26 points. 25 from Christian Braun, who's been struggling a lot so far. But hopefully he can pick it up a notch here. And Derek White is struggling big time as well, shooting only 28% from the field. That is horrible. Miles Turner is also struggling. Honestly, a lot of our players are struggling right now. But hopefully we can beat this team, and no way the play-in team is pushing us to game 7. What is going on here? Our whole team is playing good, our offense is amazing, but for some reason, our defense is horrible, and we have a lot of good defensive players on our team. The Milwaukee Bucks may just be one of the hardest teams to rebuild. In the past, whenever I rebuilt the Milwaukee Bucks, it was never this hard, but this is way too hard to be rebuilding the Milwaukee Bucks. But yeah, let me see what we can do. I'm going to come up with a coach game plan, and then we'll see if we can win in game 7. Alright, I did come up with a coach game plan. Let's jump into Simcast and see if we can win this game. We do have home court advantage, so hopefully we get this win, and it's a pretty close game, but we do end up winning, and that simulated really fast there towards the end. Haliburton had a 30-point double-double, Christian Braun had 21, Tyson with 12, and Giannis only had 9 points. I don't understand why Giannis doesn't shoot the ball. He shot the ball 9 times and only made it twice. He almost had a triple-double, but a weak triple-double, single-digit scoring. I don't know, I guess we'll see what happens. Now we're in round number 2, where we're going to be taking on the number 6 seed, the Miami Heat. They do have Dylan Harper this time around, which makes this team a little bit more scary. And Jaime Jaquez Jr. is up to an 86 overall. I did not know he progresses this much, but clearly he does. Bam Adebayo's up to 90 overall, 81 for Darren Sharp, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware. This team is pretty deep as well. The only position they're lacking in right now is the point guard position, but Chris Dunn is still an elite defender, so he's not a bad player by any means. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Jaime Jaquez with 29, that's insane. Game number 2 is also a loss for us. It looks like we're going to be losing this series, but we do win game 3 luckily. Tyrese Haliburton had 37, 31 from Giannis. If we lose this playoff run, I'm done rebuilding this team. I just know I could do whatever. I could pull off the biggest trades in the world and we're not going to end up winning a championship. Unless we win one this season, then I'll be proven wrong. Hallie played amazing that game, and so did Jalen Tyson. He had 30 points. Giannis, oh my god, 9 points. He's averaging 22 points per game as a number 1 option. I'm not sure why this happens. In 2K, he doesn't shoot the ball. But let's see what happens here in game number 5. We do win game 5. Let's go. Haliburton with 29 points. Giannis had 18. Game number 6, we do end up winning, and now we're in the conference finals. This is the Giannis we need in order for us to win a championship. He had 39 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. Literally, if we want to win a championship, he needs to be doing stuff like this every single game. Now we're in the conference finals. We're going to be taking on the Orlando Magic. Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Goga, Jet Howard, Trey Johnson, Nikola Jovic, Norman Powell. This team is deep. They were the number 5 seed, but they still have an amazing rotation. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Hallie had 31, Giannis had 23, but we still ended up falling short. But we do win game number 2. Haliburton had 36 and Giannis had 34. If both of these players continue playing like this, I could basically guarantee a championship for the Bucks. Game number 3 is a loss. Giannis had 30, Haliburton had 28, but we still fell short. Game 4 is a win. We tapped the series. Hallie had 42, Giannis had 17, Christian Brown had 22. Game 5 is a win, which puts us up 3-2. Giannis had 25, 8 and 10. Hallie had 23, 2 and 10. Let's go. Hopefully we can beat them here in game number 6, but we don't, and it's going to a game 7. Giannis is starting to play good now, so hopefully we can go out there and win in game number 7. Let's see what happens. I am going to come up with a defensive coach game plan before we advance to game 7 for Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero. I came up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's see if we can win game number 7 to advance to the NBA Finals. We do have home court advantage this time. So far we do have the lead. They are pushing back and we end up winning by 4 points, which means we're going to the NBA Finals. Haliburton had 30 points, 11 rebounds, 22 from Turner, 22 from Christian Brown, 11 and 10 from Giannis. Struggled offensively, but it is what it is. At least we went out there and got this win. And clearly our defensive coach game plan worked. Anthony Edwards wins Western Conference Finals MVP. Haliburton wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Now we're going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Robert Dillingham is up to an 87 overall. Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels up to an 88. Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Nolan Traore, Bryce, Musa. This team is pretty good. Let's see how things go. Game number 1 is a loss for us. Giannis played good, but we still ended up falling short. Derek White was amazing that game. Game 2 is a win for us though. Let's go. Giannis with 35, 27 from Turner, 24 from Hallie. Game number 3 is also a win for us. Christian Brown had 22 points, 21 from Giannis. Our defense was amazing this game. Game number 4 puts us up 3-1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Halliburton had 30 points, 26 from Derek White, 25 from Giannis. And are we going to be gentlemen sweeping the Minnesota Timberwolves? And we do. Thank God. Just like that, the Milwaukee Bucks are your 2027 NBA champions with Giannis Antetokounmpo winning Finals MVP, averaging 27 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. That was a harder rebuild than I thought. Literally took a bunch of trades to make us win a championship, but at least in the end, we ended up winning ourselves a championship. Let me show you guys our player stats for the playoffs. So Tyrese Halliburton led the way with 28 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 11 assists on amazing efficiency. Then we had Giannis as our second leading scorer, averaging 25 points per game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.5 steal, and 1 block per game. Christian Brown was amazing for our team, 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and half a block. Miles Turner, 13 points per game, as well as 2 blocks, 12 points per game from Derek White, who struggled offensively. He was shooting only 40% from the field, but his defense, playmaking was amazing. Jalen Tyson, 10 points per game. And now let me show you guys our player stats for the NBA Finals. So Giannis was our leading scorer in the NBA Finals, averaging 27.5 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Then we had Tyrese Halliburton, 23 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 11 assists, as well as 1.5 steals and 1 block per game. So he was playing really good defense as well. 18 points per game from Christian Brown, 14 from Miles Turner, 13.5 from Derek White, 8 from Grayson Allen. The sharpshooter was amazing off of our bench, 8 from Jalen Tyson, and then the rest of the team. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that thumbs up button. Make sure to like the video, it supports out my channel a ton. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below what rebuild you guys would like to see next. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.